Right, so my partners, Kava Pours and Johnny, Josh Vera, and myself wanted to open a bar that was representative of our favorite cocktail genre, Tiki. We love Tiki drinks, we love rum, and we wanted to open up something that was in that camp, but representative of our style, of the interests that we have, playing the music that we want and making the kind of environment that we'd like to hang out in. Basically, making our favorite bar to share with everybody else. My name is Raymond Sakover. I am a bartender here in New York City. I'm at my bar, Paradise Lost, which is an immersive, tropical, demonic themed surf rock, punk rock cocktail bar. We have this very long immersive hallway that ends with a neon sign. You come out from the street to a pretty much unassuming facade. You walk into a different world, and by the time you get to the end of that hallway and into our bar, you are in what we call the abyss. As the saying goes by a friend of mine, we take our drink seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. So we wanted to create an environment that is fun and that is welcoming. And I think people, when they come through these doors, they're getting that. Right, so the drink I'm going to make for you today is called the Seventh Circke Swizzle. The Seventh Circke Swizzle is named after the seventh circle of hell, which is the circle of hell of violence. Violent, this drink is not. Quite the opposite. This drink is inspired by a drink that was made in the early 2000s by a San Francisco bartender named Marco Dionysus. So it's inspired by the Chartreuse Swizzle. Chartreuse Swizzle is, if I'm not mistaken, inspired by the Martinique Swizzle, which was a Don the Beachcomber drink. These drinks essentially had your base spirit. They have Falernum, which is a spiced liqueur from Barbados that has clove, ginger, lime, and almond. It's basically like a spicy orgeat. And then you have some citrus and pineapple. What the Martinique Swizzle was made with at the base is rum agricole, or possibly at the time a molasses-based rum from Martinique. And the Chartreuse Swizzle is made with green chartreuse. This cocktail particularly was inspired by a riff on the Chartreuse Swizzle called a Golden Sand Swizzle that was created by a pal of ours, Chris Stanley. And that drink basically took the base, which is chartreuse, and green chartreuse particularly, and swapped that out for a blend of yellow chartreuse and up the ante with a little bit of 151 overproof rum. So what we did here, as I'll show you today, is we created something that's a nod to that and to the Swizzle of Yore by Don Beachcomber, where we take a bit of Strega, which is an Italian liqueur that has flavors of anise, vanilla, and a bit of spearmint, as well as saffron, where it gets its color from. We use a 151 rum from Bermuda, Gosling's 151, as well as a bit of pear to sort of add a bit of orchard fruit, sort of complements going into the pineapple, as well as a Falernum syrup that we get locally from a company here in New York, based out of Brooklyn, called Orgeat Works, which is a Falernum syrup, very heavy on the clove, which plays well with the other flavors in this cocktail. And then one last ingredient that we will start with as well is a rum that we only need to use very few dashes. It's Holmes Key Grand Arome, which is a molasses style over long fermentation rum out of Reunion that has briny black olive savory notes as well as a bit of fruit compote as well as some tropical overripe banana pineapple fruit notes. Let's do it. Seventh Circke Swizzle, so we're going to start with a few dashes of some Holmes Key Reunion. And then just a couple of teaspoons here of the Orgeat Works Falernum syrup. So what makes this different from a classic Falernum is that this is non-alcoholic, so it doesn't have rum at its base. So it works very well. I like to use this in non-alcoholic drinks. And then we are going to use a bit of lemon. So we have half ounce of lemon here. 1 ounce pineapple. And we tend to be a little high volume, so we usually use a batch, but today we're going to build it a la minute. So we have our Clear Creek pear here. We're going to do a 1/4 ounce. Then our Gosling's 151 and a 1/2 ounce. This is great, fortifies the drink, and when you're making a drink like a swizzle and anything on pebble ice, to use something that is overproof, like the Gosling's 151 here, it will tend to last a little longer, not die as quickly in the glass, and just be more robust. Bring up the bottom end, add a nice base note to the cocktail. And then, last but not least, our Strega. And that is at a 3/4 of an ounce. All right. And so a classic swizzle, you would swizzle it with what's called a boilele. Today we are not going to use this. We are going to use our Hamilton Beach flash blender here. And essentially what the Hamilton Beach does is swizzle it at high RPM. It will aerate the drink. It will, most importantly, chill the drink as well as dilute it. But as you will see, due to the amount of pineapple in this cocktail, you'll get a nice frothy cocktail. Yeah, you could use the swizzle, you could use a bar spoon, or you could just shake this up with a couple of cubes of ice, and if you have crushed ice, just put it on crushed. We're going to flash blend it here. Do that for 5 seconds. A little ice at the bottom of the glass here. Pour it right over top. All in. Top it off with a bit more ice. Give it a nice fun straw. And then we garnish it with a pineapple we call Half Moon. Some pineapple fronds. One of our custom pitchfork swizzles here. And then we love our toys. We got these little Yellow Warrior toys here that we like to throw on. And there we go. And that is your Seventh Circke Swizzle. Yeah, so I would say it's herbal, refreshing. You get a good amount of tropical fruit from the pineapple, and then a lot of the herbaceousness from the combination of the strega combined with a lot of the baking spice from the Falernum. So I would say that this is complex, light, refreshing, and herbaceous. At Paradise Lost, we like to add a bit of savory elements to a lot of our cocktails that I think tend to add a little bit of a hook of complexity in the drink that you often don't expect in drinks like these in this style. A few things. So when I first got drawn to Tiki back in 2015, I worked with a couple of stalwart bartenders who have made a splash in the New York bar scene as well as the Tiki scene. Garrett Richard, who is the head bartender over at Sunken Harbor Club, and Brian Miller, who I formerly worked with at the Polynesian. And at the time, I was very much into classic cocktails pre-prohibition. They exposed me to something that was different and showed me that Tiki isn't just this kitschy drink genre that is just rum and fruit juice. They taught me that it was something a whole lot different. These cocktails can be much more complex and nuanced and very layered. And so I think the attraction there is that in a lot of ways you have builds that are somewhere from 5 on the low end, like a Mai Tai, to something on the high end, like a 1934 Zombie, of pickups of so many different ingredients. And I think the interesting thing for me is when you're blending and layering flavors, when you're using several different spirits instead of one rum, you're using 3 rums instead of just rum. You're using rum, gin, and brandy. Instead of just one citrus, you're using lemon, lime, and grapefruit. Instead of just one syrup, you're combining them. And so you're combining these layers. As Jeff the Beach Bum Berry says, Tiki is cocktails cubed. And so that has really fascinated me, and that's a huge attraction. Also, it's just fun. You know, going back to saying I was really into, of course, the foundation of pre-prohibition cocktails, and when I was introduced to Tiki cocktails, it just seemed like something that it had a lot of levity to it, didn't take itself too seriously. And going back to that phrase, you know, we take our drinks seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. I think that lands true with the drinks in Tiki, is that they are serious cocktails. And arguably, I would say Tiki as a genre, going back to its inception, was one of the first craft cocktail genres that's using a lot of fresh juice and bespoke ingredients, house-made syrups, that sort of thing. So it is a very serious cocktail genre, but it really sort of leans into the tongue-in-cheek, and it's something that is a lot of fun that I think people are attracted to. I'm attracted to, and it's a lot of fun serving this drinks and seeing the look on people's faces when they see this very ostentatious presentation, and then drink the drink and realize, man, this is actually really balanced, really complex, and not what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, well, this Falernum syrup comes in at 67 bricks, which essentially means this is like a 2-to-1 simple syrup, so 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. So if you were to use something like the John D. Taylor Falernum, which is quite available here in the U.S. In most markets, you can use that. I would probably recommend that you uh, add a little bit of simple syrup to the build. I have never made it that way, so if you did want to strike a balance and you didn't have the Falernum syrup, I would probably recommend doing a 1/4 ounce of a 2-to-1 simple syrup, and then adding in your same amount of the John D. Taylor. This might also increase the alcohol. So the other way that you could do this is you could just order the Falernum syrup from Orgeat Works online. They sell it through their website on their online store, and they sell it in little 375s. But yeah, they do a lot of retail business as well, so you could get that. But yeah, you could substitute. Just keep in mind that it will change the balance of the drink slightly because you are adding alcohol and there is less sugar in a Falernum like John D. Taylor. I mean, if you want a good cocktail and a rip rollicking good time, we're here right in the East Village, 102nd Avenue. I think that people, when they come through this bar, from the moment they walk through the doors, they're expecting something wholly different from any other cocktail that they might either plan to go to or stumble upon. So I think the experience here is just that, is an experience. I think you get the whole package. You get the atmosphere, you get the level of immersion that you expect from a tiki bar like ours, as well as the warm welcome of our staff and the pleasure of enjoying a great cocktail in good company. So I think when people come here, they know they're going to have a good time.